see you later.
Okay.
Good. All right. Let me now. So can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool. All righty. Well, let's hope that the rest of the students get online. Well, Yesenia is working, so she asked me for the class recording. But let's see what about the rest. Anyways, so today's class is about this is a short topic per se, but it's one of the most important because well, we discuss that in a moment, but it applies only really to physical classroom because well, you know, in online classroom, you know, whether Zoom, Google Meet, or whatever, we don't really do this right, because we have a device that connects us all. But in a physical classroom, like I know Maria is teaching, you're teaching in a physical classroom, right? Na presencial.
Yes.
Yes, okay, I know you do. And in the case of Mike, he teaches for me, and maybe he's getting another job. You said that, right? Is it going to be online or physical?
It's gonna be a physical job, but not a teaching job, another job.
Ah, okay, it's not a teaching job.
Yeah, but it also works with the school.
Okay, so it's for school, but not teaching.
Yes, right.
Oh, so what will you do?
I'll be selling.
Oh, you'll
Selling.
be the in the selling part. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All righty. Well then, anyways, this topic applies for how to sit or how to get the students seated. It depends on the activity you're going to do. Okay. Oh, yeah. Hold on. So the introduction, classroom arrangement and management. Can you read this, Mike, please?
Yes, of course. It says an effective arrangement has an impact on classroom discipline and the effectiveness of instruction. Teachers should be able to get around the classroom quickly and frequently. Either you work the crowd or the crowd works you. As the teacher walks around the room, the students are constantly thinking, I have to keep working.
See the point that when we have our classroom well arranged, it has an impact on discipline and the effectiveness of your job of instruction, but also is negative if your classroom is not well arranged, then you will have indiscipline in the classroom, or your instruction will be ineffective. So that's how important it is to have students well arranged in the classroom. Now, this is we're going to discuss this in the rest of the class for the ideal situation. I repeat the ideal situation. I know some teachers, like teachers from the public schools, from the SEP, they have, I don't know, 60 students in a classroom for 20. So this doesn't really apply to them because they don't have enough room to you know, play around with the arrangement. Okay, I understand that, but the ideal situation is to have at least maybe between 15, maybe 20 tops in a classroom for 30, right? So you can have, you know, a nice space in your classroom. Again, is the ideal situation. It depends on your institution. It depends on your job, but at least know the ideal situation, and maybe you can work as much as you can with your ideal situation. See my point?
Mhm.
Okay, cool. Diane, hello. Welcome to the class. If you can have your computer, your camera on, we appreciate it, okay? Good. So, let's talk about a little bit of introduction. Can you read this, Maria?
Okay, introduction. One correct room arrangement doesn't really exist. It will depend on the dimensions of the classroom. According to Fred Jones, the best room arrangement is a room with wide walkways, for it allows the teacher to get around freely. A good classroom seating arrangement is the cheapest form of the classroom management.
Do you agree with this?
Yep.
Yes, there's no correct form. There's no perfect way to arrange a classroom. There is not. Because it depends, even it depends on the weather. It depends on the weather. It depends on the type of students. It depends on the institution, obviously, the number of students. There are many factors that we are going to discuss in a moment, okay? But at least the very first premise is that the classroom should have sidewalks or wide sidewalks so the teacher can get around freely. That is the first premise. Like if it's too packed or too crowded per se, with not much space, teachers will not be able to monitor students. And that's bad. So we start with the premise that it depends of many factors, but the first premise is, or the first factor, or the first topic is, teachers should have the space to move around to check on students. Now that we have the space, let's check how arrange the classroom according to the activities. Okay. So, Diana, you here? Can you read this, please? Manifest, Diane.
Yes, I'm here.
Can you read it, please?
The first one,
All of it. This
Okay.
is short.
quick tips. Use students' activities as strength. Place the most outgoing students in different groups so they can lead the group in a positive way. Try to give students some choice in their seating arrangement. Have them give you a list of 6 students they like to sit with. This way they will have more control will you make the difference. Arrangements work.
Good. So the first premise or the first topic, the first tip is that teacher should have enough space to walk around. The second tip is that as much as you can, identify who is talkative, who is shy, who is more serious, who is very noisy, and try to seat them in a balanced way. I know it's difficult because normally the schools have their own list already made. Again, as much as you can. Remember, we're talking about the ideal situation. Okay, good. So why is so important the seating arrangement? Can you read the first square, Mike? Please.
Yes. It says, learners are given a new perspective on the activity by sitting in a different part of the room.
Good. Learners are given a new perspective when they sit in a different part of the room. Do you agree with that?
Yes, totally agree with that.
Yes, of course. I mean, even maybe a small change like next row, for example, no? But that's totally, for them and their mind is like, whoa, huge change, right? Maria, next one.
They get better acquainted with their peers.
Now, this is supposed to be good, but it's risky, especially a person like me that I'm very talkative. So it doesn't matter if I am with a person that is shy or a person that talks, I do the talking. But I'm the exception. Normally, you can play with the personalities. Diane, next one. Diane,
The second one,
the third.
okay. Students are not constantly punched by they at greater distance from the screen or speakers.
Yeah, maybe a student that has difficult to see, sightseeing, like you wear glasses or something. Maybe it's too far, or maybe it's too close. So when you change them, they will feel like at least for that day, they will feel better. And finally, Mike, the last one.
Small groups do not arise. They sometimes become a problem by forcing their own norms to the rest of the group.
Los clásicos, los de atrás, los de adelante, la bolita de aquí, la bolita de allá, right? No, when you're constantly changing the arrangement, you can, at least in your class, prevent to rise with the grupitos. And believe me, that's good for you in discipline. You don't want to have the whole grupito en los de atrás the whole year. Believe me, it's not good. So let's talk about now practical arrangement. Again, these are the ideal situations, okay? Take these to your personal and own schools and apply them as much as you can, okay? All right, the first one, and okay, if you see in every description, we have O's and X, and one X, you see it? So the O's represent students and the X represents the teacher. Right? Okay. So the number one, it says traditional setting. Let me emphasize on the traditional. Read it, Maria.
Traditional settings best used for short lectures to large groups. Communications tends to be one way. Trainer cannot see the learners in the back.
So this is a traditional classroom arrangement, okay? And as you can see, everybody is sitting in front of the teacher, teaching is in front of the students, and he is giving a lecture, right? Or giving a class or whatever. This is old school. This is really old school. Can't do that for teaching anymore because it's actually aggressive. It's considered aggressive now. It's considered not friendly, not personal. In fact, if you walk, I don't know, and you're from Puerto Rico, right? It's the Mike or?
Yes, I'm from Puerto Rico.
You're from Puerto Rico. Well, you live here in Mexico, but I know you're from Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
I don't know in Puerto Rico, but at least in Mexico, when you walk into an old school, I'm talking about 50-year-old schools, which we have many, you will walk into the classroom and they have a platform where the teacher's desk is. You notice? Again, I don't know in Puerto Rico, but at least in Mexico they do.
In Puerto Rico, they don't do it that way, but I've gone to a high school here in Mexico and they have it like that, like you said.
Exactly. And you know what that means? It means, in psychology, it means authority. It means that the teacher is superior. That's why it's not done anymore. Okay, so again, this traditional, and I wrote traditional because I couldn't write old school, setting is not recommended. All right, it's only for lecturing. And check the second point. Communication is one way. So it's not really teaching. Okay, so let's talk about the next one, the modified traditional. Can you read it, Diane, please?
Yes. There is more participation, allows the trainer to see all the learners, reduce the space between trainer and learners as trainer can move up eyes. Best used for short lectures to large group.
So this is a little bit modified. It has an aisle in the middle, a hole in the middle, so teacher can walk up and down. So what is the purpose of the hole in the middle? What do you think is the purpose of? A ver, Mike?
So they could move easier. That way they could see the students, and if they need help, they could be able to help them out.
Good, exactly, monitor. And by monitor, I mean supervising and interaction. When the teacher walks up and down, the students will feel closer. That's the point. They will feel closer to the teacher, and then the teacher will be able to actually interact with the students. Okay, so this is okay. It has more communication. It's good for lecturing in small groups, and it's more participation. Now let's talk about some of the best arrangement, okay? So we have the next one, horseshoe. Mike, read it, please.
Yes, it says non-verbally encourages participation by allowing eye contact between the trainer and all the learners. The trainer is able to move closer to each learner. Works well when all learners must be able to see a demonstration, and works good when learners will be involved in large group discussions.
Good. So this is one of my personal favorite ones. So you see the teacher, and it's like it's arranged in like a horseshoe style. And in that position, it motivates everyone to talk. When it's only the traditional, the ones in the back never talk. But in this one, everybody is encouraged and motivated. Let me put it this phrase. In this one, everybody is forced to talk. And secondly, the teacher can see everybody and can move around and get closer to everybody. What about modular, Maria?
Modular learners can work in small groups on exercises and projects. Communication between trainer and learners is more difficult. Trainer must move between groups during the lectures and activities. Good for courses that require a lot of group work.
So this is one for teamwork. When they're working in teams as a group, you put them, if you can see, the little rectangles mean tables, right? They're on a table or a desk. and then the students are around. If you can see, it's 2 and 2, and the teacher, or 2 and 2 and 1, and the teacher walks around and monitors all of them. Very simple explanation, right? It's for working as a team. What about circle? And this is my personal favorite one. Diane, please.
Not democratic and unencumbered with no status symbol, with no table, each person is totally revealed. Simply non-verbal communications are possible. Good for T groups and sensitivity training. There will be conversations shorter in foods and more members will participate when they sit at a round table rather than a square table.
Good. So check the number 1 again. Most democratic and encumbered with no status symbol. Look at the image. Bueno, parece a un balón de fútbol, ¿verdad? Pero con imaginación es a circle. And where is the teacher? Mike?
She's on the right side, I believe. For the X is on this side. I believe that's the right side.
Okay, well, yeah, but is the teacher outside the circle?
Inside. So,
It's inside the circle. So again, he is part of the how do you call it? He is part of the activity. When the teacher sits at the same level of the students, how do the students feel? What do you think the students feel, Maria?
I think they feel free.
Do you think that they're going to feel afraid of the teacher?
No, free. So
Free. They're going to be
teacher,
free. So when a student feels, sorry?
Because the students, well, the teacher don't see the students, so they don't look observe.
Excellent. The students will feel like the teacher is part of them. And when the when the students feel free, like you said, students participate. It's a very, very good strategy or arrangement, and my personal favorite one. Okay. Have you seen in movies los grupos de ¿cómo le llaman? Los teamworks, T-groups, por ejemplo, los de veteranos que van a support group, ¿los han visto? En México no son muy comunes, pero en los United States o en the movies, así de que, ay, I don't know, se me perdió mi gato, voy a un support group, ¿no? ¿Cómo se sientan? In a circle. Yes, Mike?
yes, in a circle, and that helps also the students feel like the teacher is part of the class, like they not look at the teacher as the student, but as a person that you could count on to help you out when you need it the most.
Exactly. Thank you. Very good. So as much as you can, use this arrangement. It's one of my personal favorite ones. So it's good. But remember, you are inside the circle. Okay, good. What about square, Maria?
Square, more formality than a circle. Nobody can see all the faces of the other participants. Depending where visual aids are placed, one side may become the head of the table. A solid table seems to encourage conversation. With a hole in the middle of the table, some people do not speak at all, and some who do speak tend to talk for longer periods of time.
Good. So a square, it's a little bit more formal. If you see the teacher is part of the square too. But you know what happens in psychology for some reason that I don't understand? The ones on one side tend to speak more than the others. Very interesting. I don't know why. Maybe a psychologist can tell me. But in a square, if one takes the lead, that one will be followed by the rest. And that one will all do the talking. Unlike the square, in the square everybody talks, but in this one, only a few talk and the rest remain silent. Now, what about rectangle, Mike?
Rectangle. It says the seats at the short dimensions of the table are often seen as leadership positions. If used, the learners should be forced to take distinctly different positions every now and then. Also, fewer people can communicate face to face.
So in a rectangle, not a square, but a rectangle, the ones in the corner per se, o sea, en los que están más how do you call it in Spanish? Las cabeceras, they become leaders. And they lead the team, which is good. It's not, I'm not saying that it's bad. Maybe you have an activity that requires, a leader or like for example, I used to call a captain for the team. So you will place them in las esquinas, pues, en las cabeceras, so they can lead. So if it helps you for your activity, that's fine. Okay, what about scatter shot? Diane, please.
Teams Stremi have started with good for experiential training, permits quick change of learner focus, produce tremendous investment of learner energy, works well with multiple role plays, can quickly form into large groups, but for not talking.
Very good. So, scatter shot también se le llama mingle or mingling. Everybody stands up and everybody moves around. Have you seen, do you know the activity Find Someone Who? Have you tried that one? Find someone, Google it. Google Find Someone Who activity and ELT. Y te va a dar 1.5 million different activities, select one or two, and apply it. Entonces, por ejemplo, llegas y dices, a ver, find someone who has an orange cat, or has a pug dog, or has a red car. So everybody stands up, and they have to ask questions to everybody at the same time. That's mingling. That's a scatter shot. That there is no structure per se, but everybody talks at the same time. So this is also good. It takes away the routine. It helps students to feel renewed per se, or refresh. No, maybe you have a classroom. Maybe you have a class after recess, and they're all stressed out, or maybe before recess, I don't know, and they're still stressed out. So you will have this kind of activities so everybody will actually enjoy it. Okay, good. Okay, wait. Let me, alrighty. Well, Let me open. Okay. This is it. I'm going to show you. Let me just open a checklist of the. I know. Can you see it now? This is a checklist of the perfect classroom. Okay? Again, this is a checklist of the perfect physical classroom. I know it's not up to you, but at least you can have an idea of what to have or what you should have. Okay? This is about the door. It's clearly marked. Envelope, pad, pencil for messages, a space inside for lining up. The walls, it should have displays at a student's eye level. This is very important. Ahora lo tiene hasta arriba y el pobre niño están ahí. Displays offers classroom information, instruction, entertainment. It should have displays, students' work and art. Ya sabes, the student of the month. It should have the schedules, and the schedule should be kept current and in blocks of no time of exceeding 30 minutes. All the broken or malfunctioning outlets should be reported. Chip and blemish walls should be reported to. O sea, grietas y demás, no pasa aquí en México. And some open space should be available for emergencies and you know, something that you are not planning and when it happens, you should have some open spaces. As far as furniture, each student desk should be the appropriate size. Very interesting line. And maybe you say, well, that's obvious. Sí, pero ¿sabes qué? Reciclaron los escritorios de primero y se los mandaron a sexto. It happens. So anyway, well, yeah. Each child has his or her own assigned seat. Each student desk is organized for easy access to materials. Each student has adequate space. Desks are arranged so each child can see and participate in seat work. Desks are arranged so that each student can observe the teacher presentations and chalkboard, well, the whiteboard in this case. There is a choir or timeout area, and there are student carrets, offices, or dividers for distraction-free space. They don't have any of that in Mexico, but well, anyway, that's supposed to be the perfect classroom. But about equipment and materials, materials and equipment are stored in a logical order in place. Materials and equipment are ready, available. Inventory sheet is maintained for all materials. Materials and supplies can be stored behind closed doors. Lock storage is available. And materials and supplies are stored close to area of use. Students' records are kept in a convenient place, and students' records are orderly. Comfort, temperature control is adequate, and lighting is adequate. Yeah, well, the ideal classroom. Actually, this list is actually an official, or used to be an official checklist for public schools in the United States. So they have at least this. But anyways, but first world countries, right? I'm not going beyond that. But now you know your perfect classroom. Now adequate or adapted into your local circumstances. Mhm. For homework, I told you this is a very short topic. For homework, please, let me open this. Yes, okay. I'm going to be sending you. Can you see it? See, huh? These are some arrangements. Obviously, they're incorrect. So you'd have to tell me why they're incorrect. So you will have like one, or no, actually there are 9 different configurations of the arrangement. And then you will have to write the list of all the problems that you can find in Zelda's classroom. And what instructional activities, if any, will you have in this arrangement? For example, the bulletin board is behind the teacher desks. And the teacher chair is behind the students. Do you think it's a problem? Do you think the teacher should be looking at the students or not?
The teacher should be looking at the student.
Okay, so this is one problem. Teacher chair should be in front of the students. Okay, so look for any of the problems and then send it through the chat so we can have it, okay? I'm going to be sending you this over the WhatsApp. Okay, questions so far? Oh, look, my cat. She explained it because it's about the loop. Yeah, I know. I love. Well, my wife is a cat person. I'm a dog person. I have 6 dogs and pugs. Okay. So, questions?
No,
So do homework. And let me, Nayan, turn your camera on for the traditional selfie for today.
Excuse me a moment.
Ay, o sea, si no te bañaste ni peinaste, no hay problema. Sheesh, women.
My little brother is behind me.
Ah, pues
going
también que
to-
salga, pues ¿cuál es el problema?
He's leaving.
Yo tengo mi gata atrás. Ya está a punto de parir. Hello, Diane. Okay, so on 3, 1, vamos para que pues salga. 2, good. Alrighty. So I'll be sending you the picture. Please do homework. Okay, and I'm going to be asking Maria if you can. It's not part of the homework. Porque la tarea completa es que ustedes vean lo que les expliqué ahorita y lo que lo apliquen a su salón. Nada más que María nada más tiene salón, los demás no. Entonces, if you can do it, I will be happy to help you. But, you know, at least do the configuration problems, okay? All right, thank you very much. Have a nice weekend. See you Monday, guys. And party a lot. Now you, Diane, you're still little. The rest, go nuts, nuts. ¿Cuántos años tienes, Diane?
14.
14. She is the youngest teachers I ever had. But your English is very good. So,
Thank you.
You have lots of potential. You have lots of potential. Cool. All right. Say hello to your families and thank you very much.
bye. Thank you.
Bye. See
Bye.
you guys.
Bye. Bye.